Okay, so the first safe that we get to encounter in the movie is the Rheingold. This is the first heist that they go on. The first safe Gwendolyn's group targets is the Rheingold, named after the first opera in Wagner's cycle, Das Rheingold. The Rheingold is the simplest of the four safes and is located in a Paris credit union with relatively low security. It is the only one of the three robberies that goes according to plan, with Sebastian cracking the safe with relatively little difficulty. Das Rheingold sets up the rest of the ring cycle by depicting how Aldrich, a dwarf, created an all-powerful magic ring akin to Lord of the Rings. It is the shortest opera in the ring cycle, fitting the safe's lesser difficulty. Sebastian subscribes Das Rheingold as being the corrupt influence of money and power, comparing it to the crew's pursuit of money. However, Albrecht's actual motives is forging the ring are his jealousy and feelings of rejection, which perhaps better describes Sebastian's mental state at the start of the movie. So that kind of Das Rheingold kind of describes the group, the rest of the group, heist group. Their goal is money, but you got maybe this dwarf character is in line with Dieter and his emotions, like he's living the same day over and over again. He's probably a little bit depressed, he's lonely and stuff like that. And he's probably jealous of other people who have kind of relationships and like that. So that's the first safe that we get to see in the first safe. Gwendolyn's group targets is the Rheingold, named after the first opera in Wagner's title, Das Rheingold. The Rheingold is the simplest of the four safes and is located in Paris, a credit union in Paris, with low security. Is the only one of the three robberies that goes according to plan, with Sebastian cracking the safe with little difficulty. Das Rheingold sets up the rest of the ring cycle by depicting how Albrecht, a dwarf who created an all-powerful magic ring akin to Lord of the Rings. It is the shortest opera in the ring cycle, fitting the safe's lesser difficulty. Sebastian describes Das Rheingold as being the corrupt influence of money and power, comparing it to the crew's pursuit of money. However, Albrecht's actual motives is forging the ring are his jealousy and feelings of rejection, which perhaps better describes Sebastian's mental state
Uh,
at the start of the
can
movie.
you pause for a second? You said ring, right? And a ring is very prominent theme or thing or element in this whole ring cycle. It's obviously called also a ring cycle. And the Lord of the Rings was based on this as well. And the Lord of the Rings, obviously, the most important thing in that as well was also the ring, right? It's, a precious ring. Look what I found in the movie, though. The first time when Gwendolyn introduces herself to Dieter, she puts her sunglasses, in her shirt, and the camera, focuses on that, and she also looks down, and look what she's wearing there, a ring.
A ring. Yes. Uh, it's just insane.
Right.
It's yeah. No, that stands out as well, big time, because of what she's wearing, because of black.
They
So I think that
literally
stands out.
wanted us to focus there, the way that scene was shot.
Also, yeah, and the first thing to show the leader she's thief. She's able to kind of rob people very easily. She takes a ring from that first woman as well.
Yes.
She robbed her wedding ring. Maybe something else, I don't know, but yeah, that shot's right there is very deliberate.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah,
time.
go ahead.
So the next safe that we meet in the movie is the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is the second safe, referring to the second part of the ring cycle, the Valkyr. It is, sorry if I'm butchering some of the names. It is named after the winged female warriors of Norse mythology. In Army of Thieves, Valkyrie is contained in a bank in Prague. It has 3 dials and only allows for 2 mistakes before it closes forever. The robbery does not go smoothly as the first, leading to the frantic escape and double cross that makes Army of Thieves a great true heist movie. The Valkyrie is the most popular of Wagner's operas, with the iconic Flight of the Valkyries appearing in countless
Yeah,
works. The story
I love that
focuses on the
music.
romance between uh, Siegmund and Sieglind, which echoes the growing connection between Dieter and Gwendolyn as they crack the
Yeah.
safe. The three dials of Valkyrie must be turned in a specific order, reflecting the order of the three acts of the Valkyrie, moving between Earth and Valhalla.
Valhalla is basically the
I
promised
don't
land.
know, man. Yeah, and what's in the Promised Land? Everything that we
Yeah.
want. So Wagner's kids, or his wife and kid,
Yep.
Gwendolyn. You know,
Yep. Everybody's trying to go to the promised land, and they each
yeah.
have
And
their own.
Zeus even wants to go to the Promised Land.
Yes.
And Zeus he wants his kid back. He wants his zombie queen.
Hmm.
The last one that we get to see in this movie is of the Siegfried, which is my favorite because it just looks cool. The final safe that Sebastian cracks in Army of Thieves is the Siegfried. Unlike the previous two, it has 7 dials, creating over 1 trillion potential combinations. Without the help of Brad Cage and Rolf, Sebastian, Gwendolyn, and Korina must attempt a daring heist that involves cracking the safe on the back of a moving truck, having taken it under false pretenses from a casino
That was
owned by Blythe
crazy.
Naka, Army of the Dead's mysterious billionaire. Mysterious.
Hmm.
And it goes back to, well, Army of the Dead. Like, he was very glued to the TV to see if the team had made it out of Army or out of Vegas.
There were
And
political
before the
readers
nuke
in his house when he was talking to Scott.
stuff, yeah. And then when Scott rang, it was like possible on the phone.
Possible, yeah.
I was just, he's a sketchy guy. Siegfried is also the name of the third installment in Wagner's Ring Cycle. The title role is the son of Siegmund and Siegfried from the Valkyrie. So they got together, had a son, and it goes on a quest in an attempt to understand fear. And he had prophecies of something that he obviously fears, which is zombies, twice. And he never met a zombie before until Army of the Dead, and then he shot the bride 4 times. In the process, he falls in love with the Valkyrie Brunhilde. Sebastian describes Siegfried as the most trivial part of the cycle, a story of a hero facing dark trials and finding love, something he clearly compares to his current situation. However, he's also well aware that Wagner's story, like his own, will end in tragedy. Oh, that's it. It's kind of, I don't know, Wagner and Dieter have a lot in common, kind of,
Hmm.
But the last step, the Goddard from Army of the Dead, Goddard does not appear in Army of the Thieves, but it is instead the safe that Sebastian, then known as Ludwig Dieter, breaks into in Army of the Dead. It is the final and most forbidding of safes. Dieter receives the blueprint, the Goddard at the end of the movie, creating a direct link between Army of Thieves and Army of the Dead. Goddard, also known as Twilight of the Gods, is likewise the final opera in Richard Wagner's Ring Cycle, although the first one he wrote. Its name is a German translation of Norse apocalypse Ragnarok, with Wagner making significant changes from his mythological source. It features Siegfried's death after being betrayed and Brunhilde sacrificing herself on his funeral. The plot can be compared to the ending of Army of Thieves, where Gwendolyn sacrifices herself to allow Sebastian to escape alone. The funeral pyre, or Pyre, how do you say that
Yeah,
word?
pyre.
Pyre. The funeral pyre could also be represented in the nuclear explosion that would later destroy a zombie-infested Las Vegas, with Dieter having sealed himself in the vault of the Goddard, just as the mythic Hans Wagner did. But actually, it was he put Vandro in there. The names of the safes in Army of the Thieves thus loosely map Ludwig Dieter's origin story onto Richard Wagner's famed Ring Cycle. So the Ring Cycle is basically Dieter, maybe his life, maybe his mythology as a character. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. And I also think because of this scene, which we'll talk about next, because of this scene where, he basically says, in order to understand Hans Wagner's work, you have to engage with it, right? So I think obviously Zach wrote this story, and also Shay Hatten. And the dialogue obviously also kind of hints at this being about Zack Snyder and his journey in some ways. So I don't know if this was intentional, but it kind of felt like that to me. He basically says that he gave his life to his work, and nobody could understand his genius because in order to understand the work, you must engage with it, right? This feels very much like his DC movies, and they're also like four. I mean, not exactly four, but kind of four because of what happened to Justice League, right? So the first one was Rheingold, which is Man of Steel. It was easy for him. He did well and all that. BVS was a bigger movie. It was going to be a much bigger task. So that's like Valkyrie, and then there's Siegfried, which was a very rocky one to figure out, and that's what happened in the movie as well. The Siegfried was a very rocky road. Never mind. Yeah, so the Siegfried also was a very rocky road, and that was JL for him. And then in Army of the Dead, they go to the Gotterdammerung, and inside there, it's the Snyder cut. So, that's the victory for him.
Yep, it sure is. No, it's very interesting. Also, was Dieter talking about nobody appreciated
Yes.
Hans Wagner's work? Is that what he was talking about? Yeah,
Yes.
I think that also could be maybe foreshadowed or related to Dieter,
Mm-hmm.
because when we meet him, he's lonely. Nobody appreciates him.
Yeah.
He literally has nobody in his life,
One view and one
and all
comment.
it takes, and all it takes is one person to kind of brighten up your day. And he appreciates Hans Wagner's work.
Yeah.
Maybe the only person that really does. And the only person that really appreciates his work is Gwendolyn. So
Yeah.
the two of them, it's
It's
something
like
there as
Zach and
well.
Deborah.
Yeah,